Hey everyone, and welcome to my first building tutorial in Valheim. Today I would like to cover the basics of building, and in the next coming tutorials I would like to go in more advanced techniques. When you first start the game, you will need to make yourself a hammer before you can start building. A hammer can be crafted very easily with a little bit of stone and wood. Once the hammer has been crafted, you can move it into one of your quick slots and equip it. With the hammer in hand, you should automatically go into build mode. It is possible to build a campfire and some basic things, but if you want to start building a home, you will need to place a workbench first. You can go into the build menu by clicking the right mouse button. Here we find a few tabs with different categories of build parts. You might notice that most of the parts are grayed out, which means you are missing either the necessary station or the materials to build with. I also have all the parts unlocked in my menu, but if you however start a new game, you will have to learn and unlock these parts along the way. If we would like to build in wood, we will need to place a workbench first. So select the workbench. Now, before we place it, take a look at the dotted line on the outside of the workbench here, and how it follows the position of the workbench. This is your build radius. From the center of your workbench, you have a 20-meter radius where you can build in. If you would like to build further away, outside of that radius, you will have to build another workbench again. A workbench also serves as protection that will avoid any spawning of creatures or enemies around it. I will go deeper into that later on. The good thing is that your base is not linked to the workbench, so when you delete your workbench, it will not remove your base. It will, however, remove the spawn protection. Apart from enabling your building, workbenches also are used for creating, upgrading or repairing your wood-based tools. Once we placed the workbench, let us check our build menu. As you can see, a lot of parts are no longer grayed out and we can build. Apart from your build parts, we also have the repair option here. This will allow you to fix damaged parts, either by weather or because of an attack. I will also go into that later on. Repairing does not cost you anything currently. Selecting one of the build parts will show you below what exactly you need to build that piece. If you look at your building pieces, you will notice some of the parts will fit better than others. We have beams, stairs, ladders, roofs, cross-sectioned, sloped walls. All of them have angles that will fit better when using the right build part. The first thing, and one of the most important mechanics in this game, is the structural integrity. If I build a vertical beam on the surface here, you will notice the color of it is blue. A blue colored building piece means that it is grounded. This means it either is directly in contact with the surface, stone formations, trees, and also stone building parts. Blue is the ideal color to start your base with, as it means you are on a solid foundation. Placing another beam on top of it, you will notice that the color of it has turned green. This color is letting you know that the part is in direct contact with a grounded build part, or it is supported enough by other parts. If I would build horizontal beams against here, you will notice that the further away I build from the grounded beam, the color of it will slightly start to darken until we reach a blood red. Any piece you snap against this color will not hold and collapse almost immediately. To improve the structure, we simply need to place another beam below this side, which will result in the whole foundation turning green. We can also support the corner here with the use of a 45 beam, which will also strengthen the structure and change the color slightly. Understanding this mechanic will help you build higher and stronger. It will also help you to understand that deleting parts in your base might take away some strength and have your base collapsing on you. Building in Valheim has a lot of freedom as there is a snap rotation and no collision. To better explain this, let me snap a beam against the short beam here. With the part snapped, you can easily scroll the wheel on your mouse to rotate the beam against that snap point. Apart from that, it is also possible for me to snap another beam against it, rotate it one step and place it merged into another beam. Understanding this, you can see the possibilities of it, and how it can be used to make cool looking structures and even furniture. Notice that when you rotate the beam towards the other side, it loses the snap point. That brings us to the next part of this tutorial, finding the snap points. In the beginning, it might seem like snapping does not make any sense, but once you figure it out, snapping your place in parts is very easy. Apart from a few expectations, the rule of thumb is you need to see the side you want to snap your part against. If I would like to snap a wall next to this wall, I will not be able to place it until I move my perspective to look at the side. The same goes for placing walls on top of each other. You need to be able to see the top side of the wall to make it snap. Terrain and other surfaces will also count as a side, as long as there is enough space for the part to snap in between. Using the surface is a great way to snap beams or supports underneath the build when it's hard to see the side you want to snap against. To be able to snap roofs to your build, the same rule applies. For example, snapping this roof above here. Simply move the cursor at the edge of the wall. Make sure the roof is rotated in the correct direction, and that should snap your roof against and on top of the wall. Once you have one roof placed, you can now choose to either snap against the next wall or use the side of the previous roof. The only thing you need to take care of is making sure the roof is aimed in the correct direction. If you have any issues with snapping roofs, it is not advisable to use the corner roof as the first part, but instead snap it against an already placed straight roof. If you however want to place it first, you need to aim the cursor at the corner of the build. Once again, be sure the rotation is correct for the snap to work. As long as you keep your roof small, you will not need to worry about supports or structure. But once your roof reaches a larger size, you will notice that the top of the roof might start coloring orange or even red. If the roof is orange, there is still nothing to worry about, as it should hold up just fine. It might just become a little bit tricky when you want to connect another piece against it. If you're not happy with the structural integrity, it's always good to add extra supports. And the best support is the grounded one. It is also possible to install angled beams to support the roof a little more. Roofs are what keeps your home from being damaged by weather. Wooden floor pieces do not count as roofs because the rain will seep through the cracks and damage whatever is inside. Weather will not damage your base further than 50%, but that means your home is only 50% strong in case an attack is triggered. That is why you need to cover your build with a proper roof and repair your home when needed. To avoid having enemies spawn inside your walls, you need to build items that will block spawn events. Workbenches, fireplaces, beds, portals, these are a few that will provide a radius of protection. When enemies enter your area or a world event occurs, their main focus will be you and your workbenches. It seems the AI is programmed to destroy them and with that allow spawning inside your settlement. Therefore, it is advised to protect your workbenches, and there are several ways to do so. If you have a pickaxe, you can dig a hole, place the workbench in that hole and cover it with a floor. A stone floor is the best, but a wooden floor will do quite well. Most enemies only attack horizontally and cannot damage the ground or what is in it, except of course for the tree-wielding trolls. If you cannot dig out the terrain yet, then simply protect it by building a wall around it. Now, before I leave you to it, there are a few more tips I would like to share with you. Enemies cannot climb ladders, only stairs. I advise therefore to have ladders as a way to enter your home, and that way they will not follow you inside or find a way inside and destroy everything you hold dear. When you are building, you are using stamina. Once you run out of stamina, you can no longer build until it replenishes. It is good to have a bit of food on you, so you can boost your health and keep your stamina bar up. Keep your health at least above 50. You would not be the first dying falling from their build. The higher you build, the larger the damage. If you build really high, 50 health will not be enough. Sometimes it's hard to place a building piece on the bottom of your build. Sitting down will drop your view a little bit and might be just enough to connect it. I hope you found some of this tutorial useful and understand a bit better how building in Valheim works. This is gonna be it for today, and I will see you next time in Valheim. Thank you so much for watching. This was Bibelbum. Goodbye for now.